Hello students, in today's lecture we will see about the nerve endings. The nerve endings, the definition, the nerve endings are the terminal bodies of nerve by which they end in or on peripheral organs. It means the nerves, either the sensory or the motor nerves, they ends in the periphery, and the ends in the periphery, they ends by a bodies, and that end bodies are called as the nerve endings. The types of the nerve endings are of the various types as per the structures and the functions are there. But basically the nerve endings are classified in the two types as follows. You will see nerve endings, they are classified into two types are there. One is histological types and second is the functional. The histological type, this classification is made on the basis of the basic structures of the nerve endings as the ends in the periphery. Actually structurally there are various types of the nerve, anatomically the various types of the nerve endings are there. But these are the basic two types of the nerve endings are there. And the basic structures, one is the free terminals and second the connective tissue body. The free terminals, these are the nerve endings where the nerve fibers, they directly ends on the periphery without having any structures around it or any special structure. The end sides the naked fibers directly. Such a nerve endings are called as free nerve endings or the free terminals. When this free nerve endings ends, for they loses the myelin sheath and they loses the neurolemma and ends as the naked fibers on the peripheral organs or the tissue. That is a free terminal or the free nerve ending. Second, connective tissue nerve ending or connective tissue body nerve endings are there. Here these nerve endings differ from free terminals. Here the nerve endings, they are not directly inside the naked fibers. They have the one covering or the special structures around it, and that type of nerve is called the connective tissue body. Now parts of the connective tissue body nerve endings are there. The first, the connective tissue capsule. This connective tissue capsule, it is made up of the connective tissue. It is multi-layer and it's present around the nerve terminals. Second part, the core. Core, it is a space around the nerve terminals which is filled up with the soft tissue material. Soft material, and into which the nerve endings are present there. Third one, the naked fibers, the nerve endings. They ends within the capsule, surrounded by the core and then the capsule. When this nerve ending ends, the first they loses the myelin sheath and the neurolemma, and both the myelin sheath and the neurolemma, they blends with the layers of the connective tissue capsule. And due to presence of this special structure, this is called as a connective tissue body nerve endings are there. So they understood this is a histological classification. Then coming to the functional classification. Functionally, the nerve endings are divided into the two parts. This is classified on the basis of their functions are there. These are, one is the motor nerve ending and second is the sensory nerve ending. The motor nerve endings, these are the nerve endings of the motor nerve fibers. They are the fibers which arises from the central nervous system and ends into the periphery which carries the motor impulse, and ends by the terminal bodies or called as a motor end plate. These endings are the motor nerve endings. That these nerve endings, they transmit the impulses which is carried from the centers into the peripheral organs. Next one, functionally, the sensory nerve endings. Sensory nerve endings are also called as receptors. These are the nerve endings or end parts of the sensory nerves. That nerve is arises from the periphery and the nerve arises from these nerve endings. This is called receptors because these receives the stimuli which is applied on the peripheral organs and generate the impulses and transmit into the sensory nerve fibers. So that's why they are the end part of the sensory nerve which receives the sensation after the application of the stimuli is called as sensory nerve endings or the receptors. Thus, it is a classification of the nerve endings on the basis of histological structure and on the basis of the functional. Functions are there. It carries the motor functions, it carries the sensory functions. Do you understood? So, this about the nerve ending. In examination, you may get the short notes on the nerve ending. First, you have to define the nerve ending, explain it, and then write down the types of the nerve ending by drawing this figure. And you have to give explanations of these nerve endings. So, they understood? Then we will see next the receptors. We have been saying the nerve endings and the type of the nerve endings are there. Now we will go for the receptor. On the receptor, you may get the long question in the examination. So you will understand the receptor. So receptor, what is the receptor? Receptors are the sensory nerve endings. Receptors are the sensory nerve endings that which generate and the propagate and the transmit the sensory impulses. And these are the peripheral sensory nerve endings. The type of receptors are there. Receptors are mainly classified in two types are there. One is exteroreceptors and second the enteroreceptors. Exteroreceptors and the enteroreceptors are there. These are further classified. You see later on there. What are the exteroreceptors? Exteroreceptors means the receptors which give a response to the external stimuli. The receptors which give a response to the external stimuli is called as the exteroreceptors. But enteroreceptors, the enteroreceptors means these are the receptors of the sensory nerve endings which give the response to the internal stimuli, means stimuli from within the body. Stimuli from the within the body to that stimuli, the receptors with the response called as enteroreceptors. Now, the further classification of these receptors are there. Exteroreceptors are divided into or classified into three types are there. The first one, the cutaneous receptors. Second, chemoreceptors. Third, telereceptors. We'll see one by one these are there. The first one, cutaneous receptors. The cutaneous receptors, these are the type of receptors which are situated in the skin. That's why they are called as a cutaneous receptors. And these receptors gives response to the mechanical stimuli. This gives a response to the mechanical stimuli. And these are of these five types. The touch receptors, which have this type of the bodies, Meissner corpuscles and the Merkel disc. Second, the pressure receptors, which have these Pacinian corpuscles. Then the cold receptors, which contains the Krauss end bulb. Then the receptors for the warmth, which contains Ruffini end organs. Then the receptors for the pain, which have the free nerve endings or the nociceptor. These are what? Cutaneous receptors, which are within the skin or the ends on the skin and gives a response to the mechanical stimuli. Then chemoreceptors. The chemoreceptors, they are present in the special organs and they give a response to the chemical stimuli. That's why they are called chemoreceptors, and there are two types of the special receptors. One is the receptor for the taste. These are what? Taste buds. And second, the receptors for the smell, that's in the nose for the olfaction. These are the olfactory receptors. So these two are the chemoreceptors which are sensitive for the chemical stimuli. Then telereceptors. What were tele means distant. The receptors which gives a response to the distant stimuli. Distant means the long away from that of the organ. The distant stimuli, to that it gives the response, and these are the receptors for the vision and the receptors for the hearing. The receptors for the vision, these are the rods and cones in the retina of the eye. Rods and cones in the retina of the eye, that's sensitive for the vision, light. Then hearing. These are also the telereceptors. These are the hair cells. These are the hair cells in the organ of corti in the ear. So here vision we can see from distance. This sight will be the distant stimuli but can be received by the rods and cones. So that's why they are called telereceptors. In even hearing also, we can hear the voice from or noise from the distance, from long distance. So these are also the telereceptor. So they understood the three types of cutaneous receptors, chemoreceptors, and the telereceptors. All these are the exteroreceptors which give the response to stimuli from outside the body or the external stimuli. Then the next one, second is enteroreceptors. Enteroreceptors means already I told you that these are the receptors which give response to the stimuli from the within the body, from inside the body, and these enteroreceptors are classified into the two types. Which one? The one is the visceroreceptors and second is the proprioreceptors. Proprioreceptors. Visceroreceptors means these are the receptors which are present on the internal organs of our body, viscera. That's why they are called the visceroreceptors. These are stress receptors, baroreceptors, chemoreceptors, and the osmoreceptors. Stress receptors that are present in the heart, originally they are in the body vessels also there. Baroreceptors that are present into the blood vessels. Chemoreceptors that are present in the GI tract and also into the blood vessels, which are sensitive for oxygen and carbon dioxide. And osmoreceptors that which is sensitive for the pressure from within the site, these are present in the urinary tract, brain, or even into the rectum also there organs. So these are the visceroreceptors. When the stimuli is to be inside the body, these will be responding. Then the proprioreceptors. Proprioreceptors means what? These are the receptors which are sensitive to the changes or movements in the body, or changes in the position of the body or the parts of the body. These receptors are called as the proprioreceptors, and these are receptors of muscle spindle, which is present in the muscle. The Golgi tendon organ present in the tendon. The Pacinian corpuscle present in the ligament. Then the prenerve trendings present in the fascia and the joint. Hair cells which is present in the vestibular apparatus that already I have seen here. These are what? The proprioreceptors. So this is a classification of the receptors. So firstly, receptors are classified into the exteroreceptors and the enteroreceptors. Exteroreceptors further divided into these receptors are there, and enteroreceptors divided into these receptors. Do you understand the classification of receptors? So receptors are the end organs of the sensory nerves, or it is sensory nerve endings. Then we will go for the properties of receptors. Properties of receptors. The receptors have the following properties. These are one is differential sensitivity and the Moore's law of specific energy. It means what? There are several receptors are there all over the body, either the extero or the enteroreceptors. But these receptors are particularly made for the particular stimuli. Means one receptor is made for the one stimuli, it will not even respond to the another stimulus. Means the receptor for the touch will not be respond to the pressure or to the cold, or receptor for the warmth or cold will not be respond to the touch or pressure stimuli, or even the any one of these one will be respond to any other stimuli that they will be responding. And that's why the second one, Moore's law of specific energy, means what? The receptors will only get stimulated by a specific energy. Even these two are the thermoreceptors. Which one? The receptors are cold and the warmth. So they will specifically will respond to the cold receptors only to the cold, and the receptor for the warmth only to the warmth. The warmth will not respond to the cold, and cold will not respond to the warmth. Likewise here, the touch receptor will not respond to the pressure receptors, and pressure will not be respond to the touch receptor. This is called as the Muller's law of specific energy, because the particular receptor will be respond or will get only stimulated after the stimulation by the specific energy in the both the nature as well as the strength. Do you understood? That is called as the Muller's law of specific energy or differential sensitivity. Means for one stimuli there is not, or different stimuli there is not a single receptors. There is different receptors are there. Then next will property second, relation with the strength of the stimulus. Once you have applied one stimulus, adequate stimulus, and when the stimulation of the receptor takes place, and then after if you increase the strength of the stimulus, this increase the discharge of the impulses from the receptors. Means as you increases the strength, there is increase in the production and the release of the impulses. That is called the relation with the strength of the stimulus. Then act as a transducer. The receptors, they act as a transducer. They are called as a biological transducer. Biological transducer. Transducer means what? It is an equipment or instrument that which can convert one form of the energy into the another form. As you said, see that there are different type of the energies. Either the touch, either the pressure, either the thermal or the pain, what different type of the energy will apply or the body, and they will stimulate the receptor, and this receptor converts these energies, various energies from the environment or from the within, into the one form of the energy, that is electrical impulses. Unless this energy will not be converted into the electrical impulses, it will not be carried through the nerves. And here the receptors acts as a biological transducer, where it converts this different energy and convert into what? Electric impulses and propagate towards the nervous system to the centers. That is called as a what? The acts as a transducer. Then projection. The projection means what? When we apply any particular stimulus anywhere on the body, these impulses will go to the brain, but we doesn't feel the sensation where? In the brain. We feel the sensation where? At the site of the application of the stimulus. At the site of application of the stimulus, and we feel the sensation there. That is called the projection. Why this property should be there? Because if such a position are there, we doesn't get where is to be the stimuli. Suppose the pressure is there on this finger. This pressure impulses will go to the brain, and if you feel the pressure in the brain, how will come to know that where is the pressure? But we doesn't feel the pressure in the brain. We feel the pressure where? At this finger. That is called the projection. And due to this property, an individual is able to know that where is this stimulus is applied or comes with the contact with the body, and person can be localized it. So that is due to the receptor having the projection property. Next one property, intensity discrimination. Intensity discrimination. The different stimuli applied in the different strength. Different stimuli applied in the different strength. What does the receptor does? The receptors, they discriminate intensity of the stimulus and send to the brain, which how much strong the stimulus is there, how much dangerous the stimulus is there. This impulse is carried to the brain, and the brain or centers, they will respond according to that. And in discrimination, what required there? There is a Weber-Fechner's law is there. Weber-Fechner's law is there. Law. What? S is equal to K log I0. I0. In some book it is given like R is equal to K log S. Here in this one formula given by some authors are there. So yes, it means what? The stimulus sensation felt. Where? In the brain. K is constant. K is constant. I is the energy or the stimulus, energy of the stimulus actually applied on the surface of the part of the body, and I0 is the energy which is required for the convergence. Or here in this formula you can see the R is energy felt or intensity felt. How much intense is the stimulus? K is constant, and S is total energy of the stimulus is applied. You can use either this formula or this formula. Instead of S, here is R is used, and instead of R, here S is used there. You can follow this one or this. In Shepard given this formula, and the Chatterjee and this one given this formula is there. Both are the Weber's formula. Weber-Fechner's law is there. Do you understood? Here R means the actual intensity of the stimulus felt or sensation felt. K is constant, the law, and S is the actual strength of the stimulus applied over the part for the stimulation. Do you understood this law? The next one, the recruitment. Now what to make the recruitment? The recruitment is what? When we apply the one stimulus on one point, it will get excited and impulses start to carry from that point. But when we increase the strength of the stimulus, there is beginning of the involvement of the surrounding receptors, and we feel the sensation around it. Suppose a small prick is made here, so you feel sensation only at a particular point, and if you increase its strength, the surrounding receptors will be gets involved or gets stimulated, and we feel the sensation in the more area. This is called as a recruitment. Recruitment. Do you understood? Again I will repeat the recruitment. When we apply one stimulus, single stimulus, on a particular point, when adequate, it will stimulate that small point or receptors of that point, and we feel sensation only in this area. But when we increase the strength of the stimulus, then it involves the other receptors are there, and we feel the sensation at the either pain or whatever the sensations are there in the large area. This is called as a recruitment. You understood? Then next one, adaptation. What is adaptation? Once you have applied this stimulus, and this stimulus is kept continuously for the long time, after the some time, there is a decline of or completely stoppage of, mostly decline or decrease of the sensation or the generation and transmission of the impulses. That is called as a adaptation. That's called adaptation. Suppose you have been seated on the chair. When you sit, sometimes it doesn't realize that you have been seated there. Other example, if you hold this finger, press it. Initially you feel the press, but continuously keep this in this position or continue this pressure. After some time, it doesn't feel the pressure there. Or even touch of these fingers are there. No sensation there. This is called as a adaptation. And the two type of the adaptations are there. One is either rapid or the slow. Two type of receptors are there, which adapt rapidly and which adapt slowly. The rapid adaptation means what? There is a quick decline of these impulses or the sensations are there, which is also called as the phagic adaptation. Called as a phagic adaptation. Second, slow adaptation. The slow adaptation where some of the receptors are adapting slowly, means the decline of these impulses will be the slowly. Such are also called the tonic adaptation. Tonic adaptation is for the pain. So pain will decline slowly. Pain will decline slowly, but for touch and the pressure, it may decline rapidly. So that's called adaptation. The last property is inhibition. We are seeing the inhibition. Inhibition means what? What happens? Even after the receptor stimulates, sometimes the impulse doesn't generate the photoreceptor. Why? Because on these receptors there are inhibitory motor nerve endings are there. Inhibitory motor nerve endings are there which inhibit the generation of the stimulus. even after the application of the stimulus, and doesn't allow this receptor, means it inhibit the receptors or prevent from the generation of the impulses where even though the stimuli is applied there. Why? Because sometimes it may not be need to carry the impulses of this stimulus. This should be ignored. That time what happens? Otherwise, we will exposure to or individual exposure to the number of the stimulus. Some of the stimulus are not necessary to go reach to the brain, and there is no need to respond to the such a stimulus is there. And that time what happens? The inhibition by the motor nerve ending which is on this receptor there, which prevent this stimulation, or you can say it will restrict or inhibit the receptor from generating and propagating the impulses. You understood? That is why inhibition. Example is crayfish. This nerve ending it end on the receptors, and if any stimulus is occur on these receptors, it will inhibit this receptor from preventing the generation of the impulses, and that is called as inhibition. It is necessary sometimes, isn't it? Another point you have to remember there regarding receptor, the receptors which acts as the generator also there. What is the generator there? It generates the impulses and first form the generator potential, and it converts the generator potential into the action potential, and then the impulses gets propagated. Unless and until the generator potential will not be propagated action potential, the impulses will not be reached. So, thus the receptors are also acts as a generator. As already we have mentioned, it acts as a transducer. It also acts as a generator also there. So, these are the properties of the receptors. These are the types of the receptors. When you get the question, you have to explain this with the chart. You have to explain these properties. You may get question only on the receptors, or you may get the question on the properties of the receptors separately, or combinedly the long question on the receptors. You have to define first, classify, give all the types, explain them with the examples, and then write the properties and explain the properties there. That's all about the receptor.